The United States should make all internships for college students illegal. Internships have long been a method for companies to take advantage of students for free employment at the cost of both their time and for their labor. Internships have often been advocated by companies as a way for students to gain experience in their respective fields. However, this is not often the case. Many of these companies take advantage of students for that free labor and often provide them with little experience back. And the whole purpose of those internships is to really give students an upper hand when it comes to finding future employment. However, when that is not provided, then what is the purpose of the internship? All internships should be made illegal in the United States to protect the interests of college students who are often taken advantage of companies during a time when students are most vulnerable in their academic lives. Internships take full advantage of students and often return real little benefits. Students work long hours for free labor with little pay for little return. So why should these students have to go spend 8 hours of the day working for a company that's not giving them anything back? These days, time is of the essence, and time is very, very, very valuable. And a lot of these times in those 8 hours that you're working for the company, the tasks are often minimal. You go to a company, it could be a media company, it could be NBC Universal, to gain insightful information, to gain experience, to better extend out your skills. But if you're provided with menial tasks, then what is the purpose of working for free for 8 hours if you're not given the educational benefit back? And companies often make big promises that they can't keep, such as a false hope for potential employment. A lot of companies tend to do this by sometimes often extending internship programs from 4 months to 6 months. And you often get hope from recruiters that you're going to get hired afterwards, which often is not the case. And this is more so worse when it comes to seniors who are working their last internship and expect to get hired by the company afterwards, especially after applying and competing against 300 applicants for one spot where they think that they're very singled out for the right reasons. And interns often do the task of personal assistants rather than doing the work that pertains to their major or further field. So really, if you're going to be working as an assistant, then you should get paid for it. And according to an article titled "Unpaid Internships Bad for Students, Bad for Workers, Bad for Society," I like that ring. Employers are often desperate for free work are often desperate for free or low paid work, and they often reach out to students promising large benefits such as the experience and for the potential of a long-term job, but they often do fail at following through on these incentives. Another point I want to bring across is that the experience benefits do not live up to what they promise to be. Students often lose an entire semester spending their time on tasks that teach them little about their field, and they're often kept at the lowest of the office hierarchy, even when they're put at the job of working as an assistant. So why should students lose all that time, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week? And these days, the internship programs are 5 days a week, or let it be the minimal of 2 days or 3 days a week, when their time could be better spent on their actual school studies. And at the same time, that time could be spent working an actual job. And in an article titled "Are Unpaid Internships Legal?" Well, under the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938, any employee of a for-profit company must be paid for their work. However, interns are not considered employees under the FLSA laws, and these are the restrictions of the legality of the internships. And fun fact over there, if an internship actually makes you work as an assistant and makes you go on a coffee run, it's technically illegal, and then they can lose their credentials of being able to have these programs as well. Another point I want to make across is that internships are unethical and take advantage of students in vulnerable economic situations. Students can spend their entire summer working full-time to save up for school, but with these internships, they can end up losing the entire summer working for free and essentially losing their entire summer that could be spent on summer classes or saving up money. And most students don't have the means to work for free. It's so awful whenever companies take advantage of desperate students who are trying to basically broaden their future so that they can have better opportunities at work in the future by essentially losing that time. These 4 years of college, from freshman year to senior year, should really be spent on broadening your education and broadening the perspectives of finding future employment after college, unless you're also going to go for a master's program, because everybody's route's a little more different. And full-time students are overworked as is with both their full-time employment, with their school, and with these internships as well, because there are students who do 2 internships as well, and sometimes I can't grasp how they do it. It's because they're both very demanding. But there's some who are able to pull it off, and not everybody comes from an advantage point of having families that can financially support them. So whenever you have to worry about the financial aspect of how you're going to pay for your college, how you're going to pay for your rent, and how you're going to pay for your school books, how can you go an entire semester working for free for a company that, again, you're investing your time into them, that gives you no return benefit back, especially when it comes to your resume, which is why you're doing these internships. So one, you could develop your resume and you can also expand that on your network. And in an article that was titled "Why Are College Students Expected to Overwork Themselves?" I asked that to myself every day. Many college students experience burnout by trying to meet the high demands of the entry-level jobs along with the stress of juggling schools and working full-time. So a third point I want to come across is that interns have both their physical and mental health affected by this, because according to the Mayo Clinic, students working on summer internships have an increase in stress, restlessness, social withdrawal, depression, and fatigue. I can say with full confidence that before COVID, when I was interning throughout the semester and then had to worry about work and had to worry about my school life, because average I would take on 5 classes too, I would experience a burnout. Every morning I would wake up latest at 7 o'clock in the morning, and that's like dragging myself out of bed to be at the office by 5 and then to head out, take care of my classes as well. And I really wouldn't finish my day up until like past midnight. And there's a point where I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, I was constantly on stress, my hair was thinning out too. I have a lot of chronic health conditions, so everything was flaring up. And every day I felt fatigued. However, every student's experience is a little more different, because there are students who also have to do 2 jobs to juggle around. There's also students who help financially provide for their families. So I have to say that I was on the better benefit of that, where I didn't have to take on those extra stresses on those as well. But I do know students who do take on internships who are working full time, and then who have the drawbacks of having to support others as well, where they're constantly overstressed or constantly overworked and their health keeps declining. And it is for this reason that, going to the end, that the U.S. should make internships illegal, is because many of these companies are large corporations. They are large networks as well. For me, I've always done media internships, and then a lot of these companies are NBC, RE, ABC, and they do take advantage of students. Students are very vulnerable. They should be spending this time focusing on their academics and on broadening their education. And if these companies are not going to provide them the same opportunities, the same benefits back that they give to the companies, then internships should be made illegal, for the sake that they do not provide any real benefit.